Yeah, after all, we did it.
Right.
Here we are.
Yeah, without all interference, either way, we can get this done. So whatever, we got it.
Yeah. Speaking of superpowers and all the interference that can be appearing in order to um, stop try to stop us from sharing specific information. We know that the artificial matrix has many ways to perform, and want to talk to you about um, unlocking your superpowers and the sequence to information that we hadn't released so far about our Egypt trip. So welcome.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, so talk a lot of things. With this glitching, it's a little yeah, disorienting. But yeah, we did a lot at our Egypt trip. It's very magical, very activating. Changed a lot of things for the planet. So we'll see what's go happens in orientation as well for effect. Um, how's your stream doing?
Well, in mine, most sometimes it doesn't appear, like. But also, if
Anyone up
someone
there?
wants to,
Okay, John West, we
yeah,
got one person.
okay,
Oh, we got a
great,
few people, and we
okay,
got one on your end. Okay,
yes,
yeah, feel free to put comments and questions in the chat, and we'll go into that and answer questions as much as we can. We'll talk a little bit about what we did at the various places as well, and the sacred trip, and what we'll be doing in the future. So go ahead.
exactly. Yeah. So, well, Egypt. As you know, we did live from there, from Luxor, and now we are bringing all the information that unfolded from that trip, the most important events to be named. And well, one of them, before going to all the temple thing and everything that we kind of ignited in each one of the temples, and why it's more powerful to go to the temples and doing things from home. Um, well, because this is related actually to what's happening now, to this glitching, and how the matrix is manifesting uh, so clearly through this interference, because throughout our trip we were doing many things, and the last day um, we went on a private visit to the pyramid, to the Great Pyramid, known as Khufu. It was named that way.
Amen.
And we were there we entered at 1 a.m. on the 3rd, April the 3rd. And we were doing our thing. We went to the three chambers, each one connecting to the throat, let's say to the thyroid gland, another one connecting to the pituitary gland, and which is the queen chamber, and the one connecting to the pineal gland, which is the king's chamber. And we were doing our thing, then we went out, things happened, I don't know, yeah, a lot of things happened. There were pictures taken from us, and our image was very blurry. And later, the day after, a friend of mine posted that just after our work there, our presence in the pyramid, the sun luminescence dropped 2.1, like if almost the sun had stopped. Why would this had happened after what we did? Because it was just right after we exited from the Great Pyramid. So why could this have happened? And there are many ways to read this, and like the one that I want to share with you, is that when there is something big that is going to happen, it accelerates, and then it stops. It stops in order to go to generate do something different about it.
See in the comments. Okay. See in the comments. What's going on? Hey everybody. Matthew Enter. Hey, good to see you. Hey John West. Hey Anthem. Thanks for coming. If you guys got any questions, let us know.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, so as I was saying, when there is a big shift going to happen, the energy, the potential energy, like accelerates, let's say through gamma waves. And then all of a sudden it stops. It stops to generate a void. And in that void, a huge shift is done. And that's what happened. You know, it was like the sun almost dropped down to zero. It reached point one. A void is generated, a transformation is done, and then it starts again, it restarts again to receive, in this case, the solar eclipse, which actually a lot of things happened as well. So just to finish, what could have possibly been planted throughout that void and that shift? What could it possibly represent? Well, deep transformation to the core of all this greed that has been primordially, or that was primordially settled and configured to keep in a specific level of frequency within the human collective consciousness, because that's unity, right? So yeah, and I will go a little bit deeper in this topic. So
Yeah, go for it.
okay.
I have stuff to say too.
Okay. Okay, so um, when we talk about going to all these sacred places and doing these full activations and bringing in codes and filling in ourselves with all this magnificent energy, it doesn't stop there. That's just the beginning, that's just part of it. So, what's next? And from a unified consciousness and from a space of unity, we are being called to reconnect within all those structures that we see outside, to restore the pyramidal grid within, and generate that torsion that connects us to the simulation in order to transmit more and more and more who we really are. In this case, our superpowers, our superhumanity, what makes us a cosmic race, what makes us acknowledge that we know very little about our humanity, and that the more that we tune into that great potential, and not only tune into, yet embody it, then we are truly remembering us. And this is what one of the reasons why these places were built for. They were built to, through resonance, through vibration, through energy, generate this resonance with our electromagnetic field and reach levels of evolution that were not to be or considered in this time. They were just put as a possibility, as a science fiction plot, and which actually we have already embodied that level of grandiosity. And we are being called to embody it again, to take ourselves very serious. And this is just one example what happened at the pyramid, like dropping it until point one of its luminescence. Can you imagine the sun almost shutting down? And as you know, the purpose of our trip was superhuman love. And what's more powerful than love? And when we talk about it from its expression of this um, divinity within, then it's a huge responsibility and it's a huge power. And it was at every step shown to us, every step of the trip. So that small boy that was created at 3 at 4 a.m. on the 3rd of May, before the solar eclipse, was to plant all that superhuman love within from a 0 point, almost 0 point energy, and then restore the luminescence of the sun so that it would be sharing all those codes through its plasma, that it's more and more and more irradiating to the electromagnetic field of the earth. So,
Well said. Yeah, and then we had the eclipse, which, oh my gosh, we tuned into a lot with what could happen. And there was a lot of good things that happened with it. A lot of shakeups and chaos for people as well, because that changes management for a lot of the systems of the planet. And so foundations of things get changed as well. And the sun, I've heard multiple people saying that the color of the sun changed for them. So that was interesting. I had an intuition that it would change the luminosity after it gets past the initial eclipse. So yeah, think a lot of people got some interesting upgrades. Also, going back to revisiting old themes, I believe the eclipse was the reason for a bunch of spurred superpowers in that show Heroes. I was rewatching some Soft Disclosure with Yssah. So there's like things like cosmic events that trigger things through our planet, including aurora borealis eruptions and solar eruptions and Earth Schumann resonance. So there's a lot of waves to ride, and we'll be doing some cosmic weather reports in the future. And feel free to comment if you want us to comment on what certain things have in meaning, coming up dates and events and titles, as well as the place of power that you can initially work with. We were able to discover a lot of secret, hidden inner working of mechanics of different places of power unit points, crossing of ley lines, temples, pyramids, and what they do for the planet, and how to work with them first. And there's a lot of things to be done, but they have a consciousness, and they want certain things, and they want it in order. And if it's not done in order, it can cause chaos for them, and then suffering for them, and humanity, because it's not ready, and then it's wasted, and then the dark can get their hands in it and it messes with things. So we learn the divine order of it quite heavily, and suffering upon those that comes upon those that go against that. So unfortunately, a lot of this stuff isn't talked about in the grid working and spiritual community of going to place of power. So it's good to talk about, but it's also stuff people don't necessarily love and lighty want to hear because it's a little revealing and awakening of the state of humanity on this planet outside of the comfort zone of hopium. If that makes sense. Did you want to say anything on that before I go into depth in that?
uh, no, it's okay. Like you covered it. Well, wholeness, wholeness, and this is a huge goal that has been raised for a few years now. Yet now the implicance to that wholeness, to embody that wholeness, is so clear that it's like, how can you be your full power if you don't assume all your energy? And that energy includes the aspects of you that maybe you don't like to embrace and the ones that you love to embrace. But it's all about energy. So you need all your energy to embody those superpowers. So you can look at it from a space of love, or you can look at it from a space of convenience. And yet wholeness and embodying that wholeness is imperant for this time. Yeah, to thrive, definitely. During the eclipse, to me, it felt like a lot of discarnate or trapped souls exited. Yeah, James Whitakus is saying. Yeah, we also felt that. We have been commenting on that. That's why another point for the importance of embodying and embracing our wholeness. Otherwise, those energies won't be we won't be able to generate leverage with them. Like this balance, because we will try to. Some people will try to polarize to all love and light and beauty, and and that part will take advantage of the absence within. So it's very important to mirror into all forces and from a space of love.
Yeah. Yeah, and so we do sacred trips around the planet to various places of power that can open up uh, various amounts of superpowers and capability, awareness, consciousness, visions, dreams, healing, empowerment, drive, abundance. Many things can be done by going to these places. They're like puzzle completers for people. So they're very important. It's like, your quest when you're wanting to become more of yourself or learn who you are, your purpose, to have an awakening, a spiritual experience. These are a lot of really good reasons to go to these places, especially if you get to go to a lot of them very quickly in an organized group, which we do. And we're setting up for multiple people to do at a cheap price all over the place. As we find the really activating places of power with rare gifts and blessings that they can grant upon humanity. They are consciousness, though, so we want to really respect them. And we'll give you a little hints on how to respect them better, which will give us also brownie points, and then make the collectives of these places of power consciousness, empower us to empower you to work together in unity and say things that aren't usually ever spoken about, that aren't easy to even find. So this will help a lot of people. Just check in. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you are still there and you can hear this stuff and how things are going. And share your experiences with different places of power. We'd love to hear. and if you got any questions on them. Okay, some of the stuff that I wants to go over. You can go to places of power to heal, as an example. I went to, I had a giant toothache that just wouldn't go away, and it was like a, you know, big negative entity incursion from a haunted person that I knew that I was helping, and they're like, it was drilling into my timeline. It was really annoying, and then I went on a Mexico trip to Chichen Itza. As soon as I got to the pyramid, all the pain just went away, and I was like, "Whoa, my God, it's real! What the heck? These places of power, whoa!" And so I got a huge new respect for pyramids. Yeah, so big things they can do. Just so you know, though, these healings, you can ask for them. You want to they. It's not like their consciousness. There's reasons for what they're doing, and they see you and like, oh yeah, that's beneficial. I asked for help because I was like, oh, please let this pain go away, and the pyramid was capable of that, so it did it for me, and I traded doing abilities for it in like jobs to help it become more pure and uh, greater in strength, the spiritual collective of the area. So I traded for that later on. You don't have to be worried about trading with it. It's more of like what your higher self is good at, and you already have things you're good at better than other people, and that's usually what you're going to be hired for uh, by these places of power. And this is an automatic thing people do already, especially when they're becoming sacred and respectful, and they impress the place of power to like them, and they're willing to do a blessing. Sometimes they get a blessing for free, but if you want the really big stuff that is very empowering, you want to do an equal energy exchange circuit with the authorities of the area. And then they don't really appreciate when people come and dump their negative energy in the area just to feel good, or they bring their negativity. So you'll want to sage yourself. You want to be sacred. You want to do like a little meditation on the car ride or a trip there to at least enter a good space where you feel good, because that indicates that you're at least clear enough in energy to not be a burden on the place. And then make it not feel that good. Okay. So then there's. Okay, I don't want anything else in there. Yeah. So it wanted me to go into a method for doing that because people don't know it. One, two. Yeah. So you can take sage, Palo Santo, different types of incense that have empowerment to purify, and you smudge all around in the aura, throughout the arms and the legs, as well as do a prayer, ground a lot. You can do light language beforehand, or sing with the intent to purify. A lot of it's holding your heart and turning on your purification energy generator too. Let's see other methods. They want me to give you a bunch. Okay. You can take a bath, a shower. There's certain types of things like Florida water and essential oils you can put on, like a shielding. Um, if you can clear, exercise, get rid of entity attachment, audit your spiritual entourage, all that kind of stuff, that is also purification of what they need. But a lot of these things do that effect. Um, Grounding with a tree outside, usually with these sacred places, and this is kind of not known about well. We kind of discovered a few around like the Great Pyramid with the Sphinx. There was like a area in the temple that was dedicated to people purifying before they enter deeper into the sacred place. So there's usually going to be something like that even if it's a desolated ruin, you can find and track where that might be. It might be in a tree or a forest nearby. Um, you could follow your heart or your intuition. It kind of would even work going out in uh, concentric circles away from the biggest holy of holies in the area, um, like far distance away, where you just do a ceremony to let go of all the things that would try to hitch a ride onto you into the place, and that benefits in clearing. What else? Anything else you can think of? Go ahead.
Yeah. For instance, if you're going to do like this spiritual work or trying to be subtle with a ceremony, because as you know, there are guardians, like
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
like literally 3D guardians, like not policemen, but those kind of guardians. And there are also guardians of the place dressed up as the policemen. And you're being given, due to respect of the consciousnesses that are all over the place, all over the site, all sort of energies within all the spectrum of light. You're being given in a specific time frame to do your thing, very precisely, and stop. Because if you overstay in your energetic performance or spiritual performance, then you can generate a chaos in not only your reality, yet in the place. Because if we remember, if we comprehend that we're talking about sites that have been dealing with tourists coming every day to every time with a lot of energy, as Sean was saying, like dumping their energy there. So there is like a whole universe, like a whole cocktail, cosmic cocktail of energies. And that's why you are being given like a very specific time frame to stay in that coherence that your spiritual work, ritual, or ceremony requires, and close and go. Because, of course, when we are there and the place is so beautiful and the energy is so beautiful, and memories pop up and you're feeling like you are in that timeline, we love to stay there and we love to keep on doing our thing, until one guard comes and says like, no meditation,
Yeah, right. Yeah, please talk about that. That
or
was hilarious.
yeah, like no, 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 but it's
No
showing.
singing. No prayers.
And it's showing the matrix precisely, like the egregor that they have planted and nourished day by day based on their beliefs. So from a unified consciousness, it's also important to respect that, to honor that, and just do our thing. And
Where you
that,
can get away with.
yeah. Well, you can get away with it, and that from a coherent state will expand through waves, pure waves of that what you planted. And next time when you get there, when you go there, you will be even more welcomed, and your time frame will extend, because this is how it works, you know so yeah.
Yeah, and then yeah, like depending on where you are, like we're in Egypt, for instance, they have guards that just hate people that do spiritual stuff other than Islam. It's like, oh, what can we? It's us. Allah. What can we do? And then it's even that, like, not that they. I don't know. Depends on the person. Yeah, like Agent Smith will pop in. It's like a protection. Don't shift the place, kind of thing going on with some of the people around the temples. But see what you can get away with. That's what we're doing. But also, no, a lot of people. There's a lot of there's a big difference between people that like go to sacred places and they have an agenda and they want to like help the world, they activate the grids or whatever they want to do. Um, there's like people that imprint onto the place their will, and I don't recommend any of that. That gets backlash. You get karma. There's a lot of tug of war battle between that, and a lot of the places I've seen people do stuff with that, they get really haunted afterwards. So remember, the best thing you can do for a sacred place is uh, any state of being, place, object, organ, your being, your spirit, spiritual body, whatever, its greatest state of being is at its purest state. So if it's at its purest state, it can flourish and grow at its greatest
Exactly.
potential. So you're helping it detach and let go and rise up, get lighter, because there's an infinite spark version in everything. And you're letting go of all the limitation that prevents it from getting there. And that's how you purify and help sacred places. So, and that's one of the big things. That's like the second big thing they want people to focus on in helping their get to their level. uh, every person has a key to helping improve a sacred place. It's like not just a grid system, it's like a meridian system for the planet and helping Earth grow and thrive and get better. So it's like emitting all this cool energy that changes the evolution and state of consciousness of the people around it in omnidirectional field emissions, and then chooses and different people around the area and blesses, and people that come and go also get blessings. And all the place of power, it's a meridian system for the micro macro consciousness expressing itself, but it also has a good and well good definitions of evil, whatever. Evil, good, light, dark, there's like mix in between, they're not all the same. So of intention, it's mostly like a light and a dark expression, mostly based on like what we define that as. Evil would be mostly negative, incurring attachments that don't benefit the system, that incur in it. It's like a monkey wrench that gets in the game and messes with it. So that's different than darkness. And then there's good, but like that's kind of just an expression of the source of the unity of all in understanding full natural law and action in interaction with other consciousnesses. So let's start with light and dark. So there will be omnidirectional expressions that we categorize as light and dark in its effect on humanity, because you're not like everyone else. Everyone else isn't like you. Their state of consciousness is something different. Some people, there's things that this isn't me getting into the topics that a lot of people don't get into because it's a little uncomfortable, but it's true. And if you know this, the more detail and depth and understanding and greater authority you get when you go to these sacred places, which allows you to then transcend the challenge sector of facing shadows when you that some people face when they go to places of power, and you go into the happy zones where it's just blissful and like, oh my god, it's like a dream, it's beautiful, love it, yeah. um, so this is how to get out of that, which is to understand it and why it's there to begin with, and letting go and what it's reflecting to you and your about yourself, and what it's a lot of things are uh, to remember this. When you feel negativity, when you go to a place, it's like, there's entities there, attachment. um, it's exposing to you what you already have inside you that something would attach to. Either it already was attached, or it's new attachment, which most people just assume because they're going to a place. But sometimes it's just exposing an attachment that's already been attached to you for a long period of time. It's letting you know about that. And that's, I find, something that I experience more and more as I've interviewed going to these places. And when I let go of the thing that allows the attachment to even being my reality, then it all dissipates and I feel better and lighter and nicer and more love. So it's beautiful. So that's a big thing to remember.
Yeah. By the way, it reminded me of the initiations when we were talking about, for instance, Alkem or Kemet, the initiations with the crocodiles. Is like you expand yourself as you're the crocodile itself. You know, it's not an external being anymore. It's an extension of you, and you are reflecting. And that's why how we, well, from my perception, how we get to transform reality, because we can only get to transform what we assume, you know, and embrace. That's the power of alchemy. That's the power of love, you know, and that's a big test because, as I was saying earlier, like it's very easy to go and just also try to receive from the place, you know, like you go to a place and yeah, I want to receive this, I want to receive that, and done. And I want to remember, and then, yeah, and what are you bringing to that place? How are you making it more beautiful? Which is also very important because we are being called to engage with higher levels of correspondence. There is always a level and correspondence in the universe, different levels of maybe even very different frequencies, yet we are being called to generate more coherent forms of correspondence, you know. So, and this is also with the spirit of the place, you know. Yeah, it reminds me of in for instance the Mayans, to see how important it is to connect with the spirit of the place, and as Sean was saying, to ask for permission and, you know, purify yourself and come from this space of holiness, of sacredness. uh, the Mayans would place small jades inside the ceilings of the temples to represent the spirit of each one of them. You know, they would name them because that's the level of power we are capable to connect with every form of existence. You know, rocks, crystals, temples, everything is giving us feedback.
Hmm. Yeah, and you went into Kamumbo, the crocodile place, the power where people would be taken as a mystery school to the crocodiles. They didn't tell them that they were pretty much fed, so they're less hungry. But the initiates were told to go under in the water and then, with barely any visibility, swim to the other side where a bunch of crocodiles would be. So that is interesting because we also found out it was like a hospital with all the various energies and things on the hieroglyphs. And there are two pathways going in, like you said, one light, one dark. Do you want to explain that a little bit at all? Or do you know much about it?
Well, yeah, that of course. Then again, and it was I feel that all of us that we were in the trip agreed that it was one of the temples with more harmonic energy, you know,
Yeah,
like
balance.
exactly very balanced, because that was the mastery, you know, like to then again acknowledge both like the positive and the negative. The positive was related to Horus or Horus, and the negative was related to Sobek, which is the crocodile. So more than negative and positive, as they did connected a way that in which they connected, they also were talking about subtle energy, Horus, the sky, you know, like very literal, uh, the pineal gland, and Sobek more to a dense energy, like more root energy. And actually, Africa and Egypt is very connected to the root chakra. So, yeah, both corridors, through while you walk through them, they have different glyphs. Thank you. They have different glyphs, and every glyph is alive, continues to be alive. It's like, imagine speaking through the walls in a specific frequency, emitting in a specific frequency. And as you walk, you are reflecting your inner codes to the place itself. So when you walk through the light corridor, you're bringing in, or you're igniting all your codes of light, let's say it, of subtle light. And when you go through the other one, you're connecting the ones linking to the darkness. And actually, one of the friends that came to the trip, her and I did this weaving in between the two corridors, because precisely we are weaving both energies. It's not linear. Well, it's linear, and it's also about weaving the energies, and that's also something that was done as an initiation um, path in that temple.
Yeah, and balance of the two, because without, if you just go lone wolf into one, you get kind of limited. And you know, we have both. You can't deny one or the other. You just got to learn them. Most people just afraid of the dark because they don't understand it. And it's like I've said this before in multiple places, but let's say the dark's playing the masculine role, even though sometimes they have both, and the feminine's playing the light, and he needs to birth divine light to get brighter and brighter and brighter. And if it doesn't have any protection, then it's like a glowing orb of "come get me" for anything external, which then attaches and then lowers its in dimness, dims it and drains from it, and attacks it and violates it. So it needs the masculine or the protector, resilient role, which is something. What is the internal darkness, which is your ability to be resilient in a place of lack, of non-empowerment of light. So it's resilience, defense, offense, destruction, deterrence, things that are boundaries. That's what your darkness is. If it's balanced, difference between darkness and evil. So then, if it has that defense, then it's able to shine brighter and brighter and brighter, and they dance together like cosmic masculine, feminine, light and dark, as you're bringing them together in marriage counseling to protect against external evils, and then shine their light so they can have a greater effect in creation and divinity, shining outward. And this is the same thing with the temple and what they kind of realized. And as we were going through the temple, we were like, oh my God, this is crazy. This is like how a hospital should be. It was going into medicine, various plants on the walls, ormus. It went into bath healings, facing your fears, facing negative emotions, which is like in the dark. A lot of this temple was about the sacral, which was going into emotional healing and creative healing and healing in general. And it had upgrades in a lot of sectors towards evolution, DNA, harmony, amplifying your source wellspring, pleasure control, yin and yang, magnetic fields, all those kind of cool upgrades that it was giving off. And it even had some cool stuff that we can't talk about unless you go on like the trips, for like huge upgrades in healing that are like miracle oriented, and working with the gods. And like how when people go to temples and they take a certain plant medicine that allows them to see things in visions, then the sculptures come alive and talk to you, or the hieroglyphs. Okay. So then in the pathway of light and dark in healing, you have to understand both. You have to understand your source of light, what healing energy is, rejuvenation, love, the positive emotions, the empowerment, the things that like get the force of healing done. And then the dark is like, what is illness? What is getting in your way? What's the block? What is the things to transcend? And then the whole process of understanding and mastering what that is and knowing it is that dark pathway so that you become resilient to it and it doesn't hurt you anymore and you transcend it, which is the ultimate goal in resilience. Because if you just do the light path, then you can it can just keep happening over and over again to you, and you don't actually transcend it.
Yeah, it's missing a big the half part of the puzzle actually. And then again, the that darkness is the potential energy, is the energy that allows us to bring it on and have something to work with and to elevate or to move, to be in that motion where we can achieve actually our goals. Imagine if you want to achieve telekinesis, with which energy are you going to bring or magnetize things to you if you don't have your whole energy in you? That's why in all these sacred sites, in these ancient sites, it was all about mastering oneself, going in through this deep dive within the inner ocean, in these cosmic waters. A lot of people call them uh, the waters of chaos. Actually, even thought the famous Hermes Trismegistus or Tehuti would refer to these primordial forces of creation as chaotic, and even like the Big Bang. And well, we are evolving. It's not that it was uh, accurate or inaccurate. The thing is that now we are being called to achieve more precise levels of order within all the information that is within us, to be more coherent with all this band of interferences like we were facing in the beginning of this video, all these interferences now brought in through the technology, through the different weapons that are being used. um, then we are being called to stay to keep in a state of coherence coming from a space of the heart. And that, you know those places were precisely for that. That was its main purpose. And Sean was saying something very important, which I agree a lot, which is that our purpose is to restore those places to its original emanation, you know because then everything flows as it's meant to, with no agenda, with not trying to control, with not trying to have the only and one absolute truth. It's just about restoring. It's just about restoring what we are doing within ourselves. We're just restoring ourselves to our most evolved potential, to our most evolved expression of ourselves. So yeah. um there were many, like, we went to many places, many places. We could keep going and going and going. What we want to talk to you about is that in every place there is a specific memory and a specific archives related to the different consciousnesses that inhabit there. And that's what we do when we go to these places. We connect, we open up to that wisdom, to receive and to give what we have to offer in this reciprocity. And then this point zero is achieved, as just the Great Pyramid showed to us, as in this perfect closure for our trip to Egypt. So yeah, in each one of the places we were enhancing our skills, we received huge upgrades, because each one of us, like the ones that came to the trip, and every one of you who is watching this transmission, we all have very specific skills that we are being called to ignite, to embody, to step up. to stand up to our sovereignty, not only to remember, yet to embody what we remember, and it's aligned to our most evolutive purpose or to our highest purpose. So, um, Egypt for is a very powerful place, a very intense place. It brings you to your wholeness. It shows you to you like full naked who you are. Hold on. Yeah,
Where's the
it's a
comments? Can we go in the comments? Do being around the pyramids help unlock your gifts more? Yes. Gifts? What gifts? Oh, all
mm,
these presents that are waiting for you to unlock in your heart.
mm,
Most people have been given all these gifts in their life. They go their whole lives without opening their presents. The places, the gods, the consciousnesses, collectives there help you see these gifts and shine them out for momentary periods so that you can lock onto them and understand they're always been within you. And then you bring them out more. And sometimes activate completely from that day resiliently. But, there's a lot of challenges in this world, a lot of things that want to steal your stuff. So, a lot of resilience is needed to keep these gifts online all the time. So, it's just the third eye stuff. So, it's like good to build up from the chakras and gifts. But, you know, sometimes there's like a need and things you're good at. So, you get granted with something. It's like higher up the chain, vision or knowingness, voice, all this kind of stuff to affect uh, the world around you. So
yeah.
yeah, going more into that.
I just want to mention something. Yeah, speaking about affect our reality, influencing it, is like imagine like restoring all these places, all these ancient sites, then it will make it simpler for us to maintain that level of frequency because we are expanding it not only through ourselves yet through all those sacred sites. And of course, to do that, there is an order of steps of a to-do list, which is what we were talking about, like embracing the wholeness and embracing yourself and loving yourself and doing something about it to generate the highest level of coherence within you. So yeah, that's also to unlock your gifts in order to sustain them. A big level of coherence shall be transmitted through you in order to keep on nourishing them. Otherwise, it's like, for instance, if you're being given a gift as a birthday, you unwrap it, you're very happy about receiving it, you use it, but then you leave it there and you don't get to use it again. So, yeah, your thing.
um, yeah, and when you go to these places, some people are like, there's a big demon on this place, and I've been into that. It's like it's not like entirely negative to like point out that stuff, but your main goal is not to. If you understand the order of things and why that temple is the way it is at that moment, it's not because there's lack of trying to clear it. Usually, there's like reasons for things. Like Earth has been was in a coma for a while from the fall of Atlantis. What is strong enough to hold the king of the hill at any given time? There's a divine order to that. Even if it's in the dark expression, it's probably preventing worse evils from invading it. So there's like you got to have things earn the ability to even replace it. So it's not necessary to go down that route. It's more of get everything at the temple to like you. This is the first thing. So even from the light to the neutral to the dark, you can even get the evil parasitic beings to like you. It's like a lot of them are like the government. They want taxes and tolls and shit, and they want you to respect them for who they are and why they're there. Because even evil has a purpose, which is it's a gun for other worse evils, essentially. So it's like a predator keeping away bigger predators from the temple, and that will get less needed as Earth fully rises up in power. But if you just think you can replace it without a lot of drama coming your way, then there's a lot gonna mess with you. So you can get everything to like you and be in love, and which was what we were teaching, is to get everything to overwhelm at a higher superhuman level of love, everything coming at you, so that you have boundaries, but you're able to bring their heart online and love and the light within them. They're less able to attack you, but some things need more intricateness. So you need to understand their history and their purpose and why they're coming at you. Some of the things that are interfering with us, which need an interesting layer of attention. And also don't want me to tell people this stuff. So to combat that, I'm going to go after what it doesn't want me to tell you as well, because I don't like things doing that to me. But you also have to know that the main thing you want to go to this place of power is, if you have a purpose for this place of power, yeah, you can get upgrades and unlock your gifts and all that, but you don't want to just do it selfishly, because you gotta like come there with an intention that's positive to the place, that gives back to it, and you don't want to just take. And I don't recommend taking almost anything from a lot of places, and then you can give like offerings and like crystals and things like that, and that usually is fine. Some places I've seen, like, oh no, you don't want to leave anything here, because like this is a drama zone. There's gonna be things coming in here, and if you leave stuff, they're gonna track you back, and they're gonna mess with you. So there's things to work out with that. But we can tune into that all as guides to help you guys. So you want to help the area. A big intention we found out is these places of power amplify what is the real problem, which Earth isn't as, I mean, a lot of Earth's problems go away when we resolve humanity, to be honest. So then you see these places like an axis, grid, control center, computer thing for the collective consciousness of humanity. And that's what it mostly wants people to focus on if you're empowering the rest of the world to make great change. And it wants you to start at the lower levels, not at the top stuff like, oh, let's turn on everyone's vision and knowingness and stuff. Eventually, you can't do that right away, because if you do, then it ends up in the hands of the dark and the evil, and then it just drops back down again, and then you get messed with. So you have to create a resiliency of effect and abilities. So the first things it wants you to do, which is weird and kind of hard to like, I don't know if I should be doing that. It kind of does. So like it's taking, helping the place of power be empowered, the consciousness, the conscious collective, the egregore, the god of the area, whatever. You're helping that be a master at taking the authority from the dark forces, which is like the root chakra going upward, to the heart, and the heart going upward is like more of the lighter abilities. But every chakra has light and dark abilities, and that it's just kind of where I find most of them, and if I were to organize their abilities and their structures and their management, the planet or people or things. So it's like them taking back their power from the evil and the dark of distribution of effects towards a Pavlov's dog of good and negative types of energy to bring humanity to lessons, to learning, to to going through something that teaches them something so they become aware and elevate, which is mostly what the place of power want to do with all these energies. Because not everyone's like you. So there's a lot of, percentages of like what kind of people there are in the world. As humanity, we are programmable by nature. You have any point in your life the ability to choose to be symbiotic like a bee or parasitic like a grasshopper, where you just eat everything and you don't give back. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the world that choose the latter of grasshopper. So it seems these earth and place of power and the gods see that as like an anchor for the consciousness of humanity, holding everyone back. And if that is elevated out of that state of perpetual continuance of allowance of suffering and the distribution of suffering and karma, then that elevates everything else to rise up into the higher stratums of consciousness, which helps everything on the planet. So the more lessons people learn, this is apparently what the place of power want the most. And if you get good at influencing the consciousness collective of humanity and the earth to learn lessons faster, then that's a big thing. That's what you're allowed to do that. That's not going against other people's free will. That's what they're signing up to do by being here. And the more out of unnecessary suffering that doesn't teach lessons and into like learning as much as fast as possible, the better. So it's when you're going through the mystery school, the place of power and the temples and the pyramids, they want you to first master helping amplify and restore their ability to take away from the dark any control the negative evil has, and bring it to where original authorities have it, such as over multiple types of karma, 5 types of karma that bring suffering that's necessary suffering to those that aren't willing to learn from any other teacher. And then they go into lesson learning and they change their negative behavior towards goodness. So that's like literally one of the first things. It allows people to help. And there's like an order to it. Then detachment, which is helping everyone detach from all these negative things and continued state of suffering and things that they're ready to let go of in layers as they purify and become their greatest self deep within. Then there's like, taking the power from the dark, the evil forces, which is the distribution of emotions, positive, negative emotions, so that they go to where they deserve as a lesson to bring people to attention of something deep within that they need to face and understand. And that next one is a nice one, which is banishing. Restoring a place of power's ability to purify the people that come there, as well as the collective consciousness, to banish negative entity and attachment out of their field and purify them of that entanglement more and more. So you'd be going through this mystery school and transcending. And then there's like, things like the distribution of different negative types of energy away from what the elite want, which is a lot of the negative dark elite, like that are harming humanity and bringing people to suffering, or people that have big movers and shakers in karmic negative effect on humanity. and are anchoring them down. You know, the evil people, whatever you want to call it. They like to get not. They like to get rid of their punishment. They like to get rid of their earned suffering, and they put it onto other people. So you're helping the systems of the planet to get good at taking that back under the light and the good's control, to where the dark can't just do that, and that focuses onto those that deserve it and off of people that don't deserve it, getting rid of unnecessary suffering and only honing the necessary suffering that brings people out of bad and evil behavior, such as like illness or chaos or shadow self-defeation, lessons in the challenges of sovereignty, all those like darker types of energy. That this is what these places of power have to deal with the people dumping their shit on them all the time, and then the earth coming into a coma. It's like in this ocean and cloud of miasma. It has to get good at bringing that energy to where it needs to go. That is the perfect place and time and timing and teaching and lesson learning for humanity, so that it gets out of the places that it doesn't, the people that are good and don't deserve it and are learning their lessons, and goes to the people that need the lessons. And that clears more and more things, and then it elevates to where more of these consciousnesses have more immunity and transcendence to go into those higher fields, into the higher mystery school, into like influencing greater positive emotions, love, abilities, empowerment, knowingness, communication, interaction, charisma, charm, visions, understanding, exploration, seeing what's more, seeing past the veils, deception, truth, and then the higher realms. And all of that needs strong foundation, which is what both the people that will be going to these places of power and the place of power need to be empowered in themselves to help the collective conscious humanity to resolve this permanently and resiliently, so that it can't be pushed back down by whatever agendas of fear, or the media, or the elite, or the governments, or whatever else has in plans for the future to throw at us to try to keep us from awakening. So hope that helps. And then we got questions, but if you had anything to say before we go into questions.
Um, well, about the like all the points that you're covering. Yeah. Well, let's do it related to the questions, because it was uh, very deep what you are covering and very real. The places, let's say that it all goes to energy. Like then again, you were saying in the first point you covered that the places required for their energy to be restored from all the fragments that it has been, you know, like spread throughout the different timelines. So then again, it's all about gaining back the full spectrum of energy within the temple, within within oneself. So again, it's all about remembering ourselves, bringing our members together to restore our members together, as the myth of Osiris says. Even we are like 14 viewers, and the 14 pieces of Osiris, which actually lead us to ignite Orion, which is the representation of the human blueprint from the holographic field. So, yeah, every temple was connected to the constellation of Orion, to Orion's belt. Why? Because let's say that through the configuration of this grid, of this all this matrix, Every antenna within each temple is directed to Orion. Why to Orion? Why to that constellation where we can read into it at many scales? I will just mention one, which is the main basic, the basic one, which is that um, as Orion, the blueprint of the human hologram, then it's pulsing the primordial codes that connects us to the stars, and then from that star all the way to the rest of the stars. Like it's the door, it's the gateway, and it's the gateway within. And all these temples and all these pyramids as well, they're gateways within. And just to mention, like you have been talking, well, we have been covering all the energy aspect and the importance of bringing all the members that of ourselves that have been fragmented through different timelines. And this reminds me again of the mitochondria as the powerhouse of the power cell, or the brain of the cell, you know? So there are very powerful ways of how to connect with the body, with the biology through all these places and create these precise grids and platforms to nourish the energy of the consciousnesses in those places. Not all of them, because as like it's to be very cautious and very careful which we want to connect with and which we only respect all those
Yeah, boundaries.
boundaries. And when it comes to the spirit of the temple, like the main, for instance, Nether or God, how many people know it, like it was the main, like at a scale of importance and implicance, that each god or Nether or divine nature had to one specific temple. For instance, in Edfu, Horus, or in Philae, Isis. When you connect with that consciousness, with that spirit of the temple, that is the main code encrypted in that, then you're capable uh, to nourish the requirements, if you choose to, of that being, and then receive in correspondence, depending on what you choose to ignite within yourself. If you are trying to unfold or unlock your divine feminine, then you can go for Isis and Hathor and even Sekhmet, and then you fully connect with what's the purpose of that place, of that temple, and how you can nourish that place, the consciousness, how you can make it more beautiful. And then you map. Well, there I could go like very at a very complex form of delivering it through the holographic field. But anyway, yeah, we can talk about that and in another transmission, because it's very easy to map from your holographic body, your light body, all the way to the temple, and just generate a resonance and emanation and receive from those codes and upgrade and update your body. So yeah.
Okay, I'll go into the questions. Um, Light energy and love between the two of you are so strong. Nice combo. Thank you.
Thank
Love
you.
sending love your way. Let's see. What are some ways we can get beings to like us at places? For example, there's a river I like to visit. um, Meditate, emanate love. There's a combination of love versions of abilities that you can do. Uh, you start from lighter, get everything in the light and the neutral, and what is reasonable in the dark to like you. As you get more deeper in the dark and the evil, then they have like negative agendas and attachment and stealing energy and all that when they first come at you, when they first like feel your presence. So boundaries, loving detachment, and helping them detach from their problems and bringing all the negative energy they're sending at you and turning it into something that then becomes a benefit to its original purpose, as well as you, if you get really good at it, you can turn everything they send at you into love and the fuel that they need, and you can send it throughout their timeline when they need it to make them less evil at times when they're in lack of love. And there's like whole story scenario as to why a being would become evil in the first place. Like they were abandoned, they're overwhelmed with some negative emotion and darkness, they're betrayed, the things they love were taken from them or lost. And so like you understanding these beings as they come to you, you being able to resolve those felt areas of wounds in their past, and that emanation that they're giving to is a call for help, and you redirect it into the cure, like the toxic or the venom, and you turn it into the antidote, anti-venom. It's like I do it like different than other people, but I'd recommend that way. Uh, Anything you want to say about that, and then we can go.
Yeah, like finding the point in communion with the place, what inspires you about that place. And that's most likely to be the point of communion, what you can be offering to that place and what that place can be offering to you. So
Respect, love,
finding
gratitude. Yeah.
finding the strengths, the points of strength within you and that place that you love. Of course, the element of the water, because you gave the example of the river. So, for instance, what can you offer within the from the water within you that can reflect in in the waters of that river? How can you generate a high level of resonance in between your molecular structure of water and the one in the river? And you can go like how to maybe you are required to access to the memories of that river. Maybe that river has memories that will open up within you very important and interesting things, so opening the archives within your own molecular structure of water, and then tuning into what you receive about that river and calling in the spirit. And like you can also expand your field as feeling one with the river itself, and you give it you emanate all your waters, and you receive the waters of the river. Like that's a very powerful form that I get to do, which is expanding my electromagnetic field all the way to the the events, the people, the elements, what it is required for me to to become one with that experience.
Hmm. Yeah, and another thing they want to go into, and you mentioned telekinesis before, so there's here's a little secret I barely will tell anyone because little gold nuggets and things. If you want to go into things like that, telekinesis, you got to learn what is the opposite of telekinesis. How do I transcend that? Like, there's a lot of abilities that are involved in control of a type of energy. How do you transcend the opposite of control? How do you evolve into beyond control too? That's a little hint. But help. So if you more of what the places power wanted me to go into. If you want to help the collective consciousness, if you want to help the collective consciousness of humanity to heal, help it heal itself. Get it to where it's able to pump out more healing energy towards itself, and you do little things in understanding that you learn in yourself and healing yourself to the collective, such as like if it's not healed, then it's like a musical chair type of thing. The chairs are going to be filled with whatever is the expression of not healed. So if you understand that and you learn that, you're like, oh, illness energy, suffering, pain, loss, negative emotion, all that stuff. You learn where that's coming from, where it's generating, where it's going, where it's not in its optimal form, redirect it to where it's supposed to go. Some of it you can transmute into the opposite, so you can heal. You can turn illness energy into healing energy, or pain into healing, all that. So that's some of it, though. Some of it doesn't want to be transmuted. Some of it has a purpose, and you distribute it back to where it needs to be, and out of the places it's filling up that it's not supposed to be, that evil will want to redirect it and then overwhelm the system. And every energy is like a reflection and a branch of the tree of you. So it has purposes, may not be in its efficient purpose. Bring it back to that, and that will start to build and turn every type of negative energy into a way in which it heals. And that will start to unfold and build upon a strong foundation of transcendence. And then also, there's things in lessons the collective consciousness can learn that you've learned that you can bring and emanate. And as you learn lessons yourself faster, it also brings it to the collective. And then there's healing generators. When, if you want generators to turn on, they have to feel safe. What else we got here? And yeah, we got to talk about sessions before we go into questions. So if you guys got questions, we'll be doing live sessions later and all kinds of things, so you can ask about yourself personally, and we can tune into you and do healings live, and it'll be nice. And you can either let us tune into and, like, all the scenarios of that, and tell us what you're dealing with, and then we can tune in and tell you what we're getting. And yeah, we do sessions and consultations. So all kinds of healing, transcendence, turning on your dormant abilities, uh, things that you want to overcome, problem solving. I'm really good at releasing pain. She's also really good at healing in many different ways. It's fun. And yeah, there's so much. And we'll be putting out video procs and doing meditations. And what else are we going to be doing in the future?
Well, yeah, we have a lot of surprises. We are bringing all this information in many ways. Some of them we are keeping it as surprises. For now, what we can talk about is the upcoming trips. We are planning already a trip to Mexico. So if you're interested in, like, we don't have a specific date yet, but we are just opening the window to do that trip to Mexico in this year, by the end of the year. So if you're interested, or if you would be interested and want to know more about the trip, and like, just send an email to the emails that we will be writing in the description of this video, and so that we can share with you more information, and mostly to register you in the list of people who is interested, because we are having a list. That's very important for you to, raise your hand if you're interested in joining us in our next adventure, where we will be going through ancient sites and connecting with the spirit of each site, and what's the purpose of each site, to ignite those powers within you, and for you to remember that at some timeline, that in a specific timeline, you planted very important codes of your greatness there, and you will be remembering them and bringing them to life within you to achieve those superpowers and that highest emanation of yourself. And yeah, about the questions, if you have questions, if you have any suggestions of topics that you would like for us to cover and talk about, then feel free to write us in any of our channels, and reach out to us. And yeah, like, if you want a consultancy, like, for us to focus in your life, then we can open that space for you, and also to, as I was saying, to any other topic. And yeah, about the sessions that we are giving, yeah, we have many, wow, many comments. Beautiful. We have many ways in which we can support you to remember to restore your full potential. And
Past lives, you know, help you in the remembering and integration of it all.
yeah, and knowing how to use your body, how to use your most important tool in this.
Yeah, esoteric anatomy, we can help you turn it on. Yeah,
Yes, in different ways. It's very
yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
That's
We're
what
very
we're here
passionate
for.
about
Yeah.
it, which is the lovely part.
Yeah.
Okay, we can go into a little bit of comments, but we got to go.
Yes.
Mm. Yeah, thank you guys for the lovely comments. Um, not in Egypt right now, we're in Mexico, but we were, and we got a lot we can talk about it, and we'll probably have an update video for the groups and stuff that we might make public. Are there methods that tend to help at just about any place of power, such as truth meditation and maybe grounding? Does it depend? There's a lot of things you can do there, especially if you're in gratitude and you're helping the place and you're making it like it's a mutual beneficial thing. That's much more allowed. Uh, some of the things, like for instance, if you were to see like some of the place of power as machines and they have greater systems in them that can be turned on, some of that doesn't always want you to do it right then. It eventually does. And it's meant to as we're rising back up in frequency. But if you turn them on, then demons will come and drain from it. So you want to find a divine order and stuff, which is like why it's a little bit of a more of a esoteric and advanced level of understanding these places of power, which is why it's good to work with individuals like us that are willing to look at all these details and understand the places and interview them and can teach people telepathy to talk to them.
Yeah. It's like you, for instance, if you want to open up, if someone comes right away, like straightforward, and start doing things to you, it's quite likely that you will shut up. It will generate the opposite effect in you. You know, like you will shut down because you're feeling invaded. You're feeling not respected. You know, so it's the same with the places. You know, it's just a process of enabling organically through what is meant to happen in the wisest way. You know, it's there are many
Hey, Ron.
there. Hi, Ryan. Speaking of,
Yeah.
yeah, he was with
Smash that
us.
like. Um,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we'll go now. But like, if and there's somebody who's like, if reincarnation is true, are we all living all our specific life simultaneously, or is it one by one conscious experience of many lives? It's kind of both. Linear time is an illusion, but that's just I've kind of understood that that's been the catch-all term people go to when people want to describe how does time work, because that's been collectively agreed upon, and that's like the oh yeah, this is amazing information. It's true that everything is happening all at once, and imagine if time didn't exist and it all collapsed into a singularity. You can do the same thing with space. Ooh, like you compress it all into a singularity. Like, what's the point of space? So that experience can be had. Same thing with time in a progression, so you can understand yourself in deeperness and observance. Without it, like how can you know yourself fully? Um, and then there's different modes of time. Time goes beyond just the expression of it's all happening at once, though, because how does that make sense with different bubbles of time and relativity in separate emanations of time, as an emission and a progression of rotating bodies in distance and observation of each other in the speed of light, at least in the perception of our consciousness, as opposed to other species that can perceive more or less. So complicated. But yes and no. But let's say for this reality, there is a way to transcend linear time, which is to go into that center point and go beyond, which people talk about in fourth D perception. Um, Anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, like just to have a slight idea, imagine that our RNA, which is, let's say, the complementary part to our DNA, has the capability and generates 4D patterns, our RNA. So within our own biology, we're already creating four-dimensional structures that are opening up for us to travel through time, which is this kind of hypnosis part. So yeah, and now imagine if things can be happening simultaneously or not, like we and our fractals coexisting. That's how we can
Yeah.
also shift timelines, because we are choosing from those infinite field of probabilities what we are up to create or continue to create at this moment. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's also like what use is that? That's the concept is the elevating, stepping staircase of the mystery school of time, which is what happens when you transcend time and the limitations of time, where the past is not set in stone as much as well. Your like past lives, especially, but because or other bubbles of reality that are separate from you outside of your field of seen to unseen, which is the Schrödinger cat box. Is it alive or dead in the cat box? You don't know until you open up, and there's all that with the quantum experiment. But the experiment's initial like masterpieces is you have the ability to influence it.
Exactly.
So you have the ability to influence what is separate. And then as you elevate through the mystery school, you have the ability to even influence what is closer to you, what is more in the scene. Past lives, including you have the authority to send healing and resolve stuff in the energetic unseen. And then the more you get trusted with time abilities, the more you can go back in time, the more you can go to older past lives, to more complex past lives, more set in stone past lives, more solidified aspects of matter to be able to change and influence in retrocausal uh, psychokinesis, which is the term for this ability to influence something back in time.
Yeah. For me, it's very easy to navigate in this capabilities with the source code, your own geometrical body, because each line that constitutes your energy body is showing a file, an archive that allows you to navigate within those timelines, and you do it from the holographic field, like Doctor Strange.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna go, but like you can ask us about the teeth stuff. I'm really good at healing teeth. It goes into timeline stuff and clearing it out, and it's like reflectors of who you are and everything you've eaten and all that. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate the
Mm.
kind words. Thank you. Yes, yes. Thank you. We are getting plugged. Thank you, Ben. Me too. Yeah, the teeth. If you have bad teeth or teeth pain and grinding and all that, let us know. Contact us if you want a session. Leave in the comments. You can contact us on Facebook or comment on YouTube or email. Mine's sonicleague@gmail.com. You want to leave yours?
Sure, it's Isha or Isa Ars Leave, but I will write it down. Yeah, maybe at gmail.com or other one. But yeah, I will write them down.
And you're on Facebook as.
Yes, my Facebook as Isha Ars Lib, which is like my name, YSSAH space ARZ space LIB. And yeah, we're more than happy to support you. And anyhow, like sometimes in this path, we can get to diminish our humanity because we are so focused in returning home and being this with our galactic family, and then we leave this human body aside, and then we remember that without a body we cannot do that, and it's very important. Our body loves us. It's this huge tool that we are capable to ignite and use, and actually it's the bridge, the vehicle to achieve that full completion.
Yeah, and yeah, we'll be doing more meditations, video procs, light language. Let us know if you want to see certain things. We're gonna be pumping out healings and videos for people, and go into the description of a lot of things. And abundance, we're going to go heavy into abundance, and the different ways to release the blocks off of your ability to attract money, because that's the root chakra. And I mean, that's what people are stuck in, because it's survival mode. The elite keep pushing us back into that. So we're going to help everyone get into that, and then with everyone in the collective that is of you light beings out there that are making the world better. If you're more abundant, then you make everything better, and then you don't have to focus on that, and then you can go into your abilities and what you're truly meant to do while you're here. So let us know in the comments if you want to see more of that too, and show us your love and help support us. And we also take donations and all that. Yeah, let us know, and yeah, sessions and more if you want to see more lives like this. Thank you both. Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Monsieur. So current, very much appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. We want to go to Australia too.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah, we're putting the place of power. So yeah, hit us up if you want us to come to your neck of the woods too, and you want to be part of our journeys. Send us a message so we can make you part of that email list, and then as we're going to different places of power around the planet, and helping teach through workshops, and helping through the will of the place itself, what they want in the activation, in the order they want, in kindness and love and gratitude, and not forcing our will upon them, in purity, and bringing them to that state of purity, with people that are respectful, that will help you through these to be master good workers. Come join us, and send us an email at the ones we mentioned, like psionicleague@gmail.com, or message me in Facebook, Instagram, all the other X, some other places sometimes. How about you go ahead and mention your thing again?
Yes, and if you want to know more how we can support you, remember to write to us an email, and to give a specific session in live to you, so that we can experience.
Maybe.
Yes.
That's going to be a lot of heavy lifting. Sorry, I know you know it.
Yeah. Bringing back alive the angels.
Yeah, right. And the lost angels, yeah.
Yeah, so that will be a very beautiful opportunity if you allow yourself for us to give a session live, and the rest can nourish from that session. And yeah, I think we've pretty much covered it all. They're asking our signs in astrology. Well,
Aquarius.
Yeah, like he's both in sidereal and in tropical astrology. He's Aquarius. I'm in galactic astrology as well. That's another topic. Yeah, like they're unified astrology. Yeah, I'm Aries in tropical astrology, and I am Pisces in sidereal astrology, and Cetus in cosmic astrology. I know there are a lot of layers. We're trying to simplify it to unified astrology. Yeah.
Yep. And if we're not coming to your neck of the woods as fast as other places that were more motivated, you can motivate us. There's different ways to do that. Los Angeles, my God, that will take a lot of motivation. But hey, love you still. Maybe we'll help you get the abilities to do it yourself. But my God, if you live there, good luck, and yeah, thank you for holding the line.
Yes.
Okay,
Good
so
job.
thank you all for coming again. Sonic League .com, Sonic
Mm.
League YouTube, Sonic League at gmail.com, also on Facebook, Sean Bond. And yeah, message me if you want to see more of this content and get a session, all that. You should go ahead and plug your stuff, and then we'll end.
Yes. Yssah Arzate, Facebook. I will share my emails in the description. And yeah, like feel free also to contact me if you want private sessions or if you're interested in any of my online courses, which are quite related to the uh, plasma tech, the holographic field. I call it the spiritual science. And it's all about
My
using.
original name was Silver Cord Spiritual Science, by the way.
Oh, well, no wonder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, it's all about that, the spiritual tech, and bringing it to their body, explore it through the holographic field, which is a very easy way to do it. It might sound kind of complex, but if you're interested and curious about knowing more about these ways, you can also write it and we can dedicate a live to talk about this. We will be doing often lives about many topics. So we are encouraging you to write the topics you would love for us to talk about.
Thank you guys. Have a wonderful night. Good seeing you. Thanks for all your lovely words. Love you.
Yeah, love you.
Love you. Love,
Thank
love, 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 love,
you.
love, 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 love.